Hold on for a second. What's up, YouTube family? I would like you guys to make sure you like and subscribe to our video. It would help us get into the algorithms so we could be seen and bring more engaging content to you guys. So like I said, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Appreciate you. Welcome to another edition of the Pick and Downs podcast. I'm your host, per usual, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and P. Bush. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing well, man. Nice little holiday weekend, back on the grind, and been enjoying watching Bronny James get put on skates every time he plays in the summer league, man. Nepotism at its finest.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Yeah, 4 days off is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yes,
I don't remember the last time I had a 4-day straight weekend because it's a beautiful day. I forgot what freedom felt like. What freedom felt like.
Dude, did you forget your computer password for work, man? Sometimes that happens if you don't go on it enough, man.
Yeah, and I was going to lunch today and I missed the turn. I was like, oh, forgot the route to go to lunch.
There you go.
It felt so long because I haven't been in the office since last week. Because of July 4th weekend. So it's been a while since I've been in this working groove. But, man, I miss summer. I miss being a kid in summer, man. That's all I got to say. I miss being a kid in summer.
There is no summer when you're an adult.
Too bad, Zoo, there's no sports that you love to complement that, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no sports at all. No sports. So I got no excuses not going to the gym. No excuses.
No excuses.
No excuses.
Yeah, summertime, before, like, I know a lot of people kind of complain because they like 4th of July on Friday because it's just like you start your weekend early. But like most people, not saying all, but most people just take off that Friday anyway. So it does feel like an extended break. And we were kind of talking before the pod just about how like, man, it just feels like everything is happening in the NBA. Even though a lot hasn't happened, it just feels like a lot of events have occurred. So that's going to be our focus right now for this topic. One and only topic we're going to talk about right now. Which is just NBA free agency. There was a couple big moves. There were a couple teams that didn't make moves. So, P. Bush, go ahead and give us one of the teams that you are interested in.
I think we got to talk about the 76ers, man. They were the big mover in this free agency, re-signing Zoo's one of his up and rising stars, Tyrese Maxey, getting re-signed. That was huge for long-term planning. Zoo, I think they might be trusting the process again, man. I think they might be officially doing that because then they bring in your boy PG, man. He's that. They finally chose someone over Tobias Harris. So let me just put it that way.
Yeah, you go from Tobias Harris to Paul George. That is an upgrade.
That is a huge upgrade. You know, you got a veteran wing who's looking to win. He obviously had his idea of where he wanted to go. I think there were a couple options. You know, the Warriors were tossed around a little bit. You know, I can't remember the exact reason why that fell through, but I think their whole Clay situation. It was just Warriors are just kind of. Man, they're in that middling ground now, man. They're going to be kind of bottom of the West just based on how it's looking. And I think that's also the reason why Paul George maybe wanted to go to the Eastern Conference, man. He's got a little bit better of a chance at making a finals and potentially winning it, with really the Celtics probably being the only true match. We got to see how the Bucks adjust after all their injury-riddled 2023-2024 season. But, man, I got to shout out one signing, man, that I thought that the 76ers made, which was crucial, and that was Andre Drummond, man, the former Bull. I know it happened a little while ago, and we haven't really focused on it. But one thing we always talk about is Embiid kind of becoming a liability when he's exhausted. And we've talked about how he just looks, whether it's his injury issues with the fatigue or just kind of slowing down, and then he settles for those top-of-the-key three-pointers that Zoo absolutely hates. And just, I shouldn't say it's just Zoo. Shaquille O'Neal is probably the guy that's like, man, get your ass down in the post, man, and be a big man, right? So I think by bringing in Andre Drummond, he can give you, 18, 20 minutes a game. We know he is a Hall of Fame level rebounder. He's not a Hall of Fame player, but he is one of the best rebounders we've seen in the last 10 years in this NBA. Yep. And I think people forget how young he is. He looks like he's been in the league for about 20 years, but I think he's only in his early 30s, if not just around 30 years old. So, 2-year deal, very cheap deal, one that they needed to complement the big signings that they had made on top of Embiid's existing contract. And they got their point guard, they got their wing, they got their big man, and they got a guy that can back up their big man and take a little bit of stress off him when necessary, on top of Paul George complementing Embiid scoring-wise as well. So Man, this team's they have no excuses. They got a great head coach. They got a 3-tier scoring system with a couple solid role players. Their GM is aggressive and willing to make moves. Yeah. They are in an ideal situation with only one, potentially two true competitors in their conference. This is the year, man. Or they got a couple years, maybe a 2-year window. I would say maybe 3.
Yeah, 2 years max.
Yeah, because I mean, Paul George is getting older, right? And
34 years old. 34.
Yeah, and Embiid's only going to have more injury issues or fatigue.
He got a body of a 34-year-old.
He's got a body. Yeah, he does have a body of a 34-year-old with a lot more weight putting on every step. So I'm interested to see what they end up doing. But, that Drummond signing, I think, was the one that flew under the radar for a lot of people because you need those types of guys, man, that can come in. Hartenstein was a perfect example for the Knicks this year.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, you got to shout out Daryl Morey. Because all Daryl Morey does is get deals done and get stars. Like, if you look at his track record, not just in Philadelphia, in the Houston Rockets, he got James Harden, star.
Yep.
He got Dwight Howard, who was an all-star at the time, so he paired them. And then he got rid of Dwight. He brought in Chris Paul, star.
Yep.
You shipped him out. You got Russell Westbrook. He was still at a star at a time, and then he pivoted. He got let go. Philadelphia 76ers. Ben Simmons, bust. Ship him out. Got a start. James Harden. That was a hell of a trade. Just think about it. Ben Simmons is probably the worst contract in the NBA. He was able to get James Harden. James Harden starts pouting. What does he do? He gets rid of James Harden to get picks and future assets, and he prepares the cap space to prepare to get another star. He's like, MB, give us time. Give me a year. We got cap space. I'm going to get you some help. Paul George. Yeah, this guy, Daryl Morey, like, he might not have won a championship yet, and that could be some of his fault, some of his stars' fault. But all I got to say is he puts them in the Final 4, Final 5 teams based on his moves, of his aggressiveness. It's just like this guy doesn't make excuses.
Nope.
This guy does not make excuses. All he does is pair. He got the superstar player, and he's able to find complementary guys to fit him, and he's trying multiple guys. So, yeah, as you can say, Joel Embiid, 0 excuses. You're an MVP.
Nope.
You're the only MVP ever to not make it to the conference finals. That's embarrassing. And you're in the East. You're not in the West. You're in the East. So the road to the Eastern, like Tyrese Halliburton has made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Trae Young in his 3rd and 4th year has made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So you're talking about these guys that are, I would say, worse players than you, made it farther in the playoffs, and a lot of the playoffs is your fault. It's not like you balled out and your team didn't get it done. It's like you didn't show up and your team has lost.
And his 1 year running mate, Jimmy Butler, man, he ended up leaving him and then going to make a couple runs to the conference finals.
The NBA finals.
Yep.
So like Joel Embiid, you got all the accolades now. You're now Olympic. You're probably the starting center for the Olympic basketball team. So you got every freaking award you got, and you got a squad. You got a squad now. You got Tyrese Maxey's the perfect point guard for him, with a Paul George who's your 3rd option. Paul George that is a luxurious. That is a very luxurious 3rd option because I think PG is more of he's a 2. He's definitely not an alpha, but he's a 2. He's a sidekick. But him as your 3rd option, go win a chip. No excuses. No excuses. So MB. Great point. And they got Caleb Martin, your boy Caleb Martin.
Yes, they did get
Caleb Martin, they did. They got him for less money, too.
Oh, yeah. $32 million over 4 years.
No, 4-year deal.
Yeah, so he gave him $8 million a year. So they got him on a nice, great contract when contracts are just excruciating big. Like, you're like, what? Like, I like Hartenstein, but that dude got $80-something million. Yeah. Like, Hartenstein is a nice player, but $80+ million, that is a lot for a center. And he might not even start.
Right.
So that brings me to the point. That brings me to the point. You go from a great GM and Daryl Morey. I got to shout out Sam Presti. Because what Sam Presti done is get the best role players you get. Isaiah Hartenstein and my man, AC, Alex Caruso, man. Thank you. Thank you, Alex Caruso, for your services. You got to move on to better things because you deserve to be on a playoff team. You don't deserve to be on this bum franchise with the Chicago Bulls, wasting your career, wasting your all-NBA defensive performances, wasting your three-point shooting. What a waste on this pitiful franchise. Go have success with a GM that actually knows what the hell he's doing because I don't know what he's doing. Jalen Smith, 3-year deal, $27 million. My asshole, man. He didn't even play in the playoffs, and we gave this brother $27 million. That's a big signing.
Could have just signed Andre Drummond again.
Youth movement.
We're tanking. Zoo just said tanking sign. That is a tanking sign.
When Zoo's, all I said to Zoo after the Demar trade, and I'm sure he'll talk about that shortly, was he just sent a tank emoji. That was literally, or a tank.
Tank on E.
That was it. That was it, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll talk about that later. But dude, Alex Caruso, what a piece.
Yeah.
He's the definition as a playoff player. Two-way guy, improved his three-point shot, could play off the ball, high IQ, team defender, and on-ball elite perimeter point of attack defender. And you got Hartenstein, who's an elite defender, rim protector down low, who could pass the basketball. Yep. So right now you beefed up because right now Sam Presti's saying we got our stars. Like we don't need to add a veteran star. Like we got Shea, who's MVP caliber. We got Jalen Williams, who's going to go in his third year, and he's gotten better every year. He's the wing guy. You got Chet Holmgren, who's that third option, a.k.a. like a Chris Bosh type rim protector, rebounder, and elite three-point shooter. And you add AC and Hartenstein, you can make it. Yeah. Oh, with Lou Dort as perimeter, like hounds on defensive end, you got potentially multiple All-NBA perimeter defenders.
Dude, that right so there. Deep. That right there is the Mavericks stopper, what I would like to call Alex Caruso on Kyrie and Lou Dort on Luka, man.
Yeah, like the perimeter defense is out of this world right now. Sam Presti, and the crazy part is he didn't give up any picks.
None.
I cannot believe the Bulls didn't get a pick. That's so unbelievable, bro.
I'm asking for a first round pick. Just give me a second. Give me a pick swap. Give me something. You got freaking a treasure chest full of picks, and they gave nothing for Josh Giddey, who had off the court troubles, as everybody knows, and had his worst season in the playoffs. So on the court and off the court, he had a rough year. So his value is at all-time low. AC had a career year. Boom. This guy's like in his prime right now. AC is like playing phenomenal basketball, and we couldn't get a single pick for a team that is rebuilding. Like, you got to have some assets to rebuild.
You got a couple second rounders, Zoo.
Jesus. A couple second rounders, man.
For DeMar
DeJordan
got you too.
That's another guy I got to talk to. Thank you for your services, DeMar DeRozan. Yes. You deserve to be on another franchise who got the shit together. Because Sacramento's a legit franchise now. They got some real players right there. And they're going for it. I like how all these playoff teams are like, screw it. Like, first of all, they gave up nothing. They gave up 2 second-round picks and Harrison Bricks for DeMar DeRozan
and Davion. That's the only young piece.
Whatever. Yeah. They got Malik Monk on a cheap contract.
Raptors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got to let go.
He was part of the third team.
Yeah, they don't need him, man. They got plenty of guards, especially with DeMar DeRozan joining the lineup. That team is loading up, going for a playoff run. I don't know if they're going to be elite like the OKC Thunder team because they play zero defense. But offensively, they're going to be nice to show. But it looks like they're tripling down on offense and trying to outscore you 120 to 115.
Let me ask you this, though, Zoo, about that fit, because this is what I was curious about with DeRozan is one thing you can knock DeRozan about, and I do think it's partially why the Bulls had some struggles. And he was obviously the only consistent player, huge shots for the Bulls. Like you said, thank you for your service. But the ISO ball situation with De'Aaron Fox, based on how DeRozan plays, he's a very ISO ball player. Mm-hmm. Do you think that'll have any negative effects on De'Aaron Fox?
Yeah, because De'Aaron Fox and the Sacramento Kings, they run that Warriors movement offense through DeMar, through Sabonis' passing, very similar to Draymond Green. Like Mike Brown just copy pasted the Golden State Warriors offense and pretty much utilizing it on the Sacramento Kings. And DeMar DeRozan, I love him. He's an ISO guy. He's a ball stopper. But that's what was demanded by the Chicago Bulls because I don't know. They didn't have enough movement guys or shooters to do anything. Oh, he's going to start. Yeah, 100%. He got a 3-year deal for $74 million. He's going to start. Because it's going to be De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, or Kevin Hurt, or one of those guys, one shooter. You got DeMar DeRozan. You got Sabonis at the center position. And you got Keegan Murray as a stretch forward. So DeMar's going to fit in that 3 spot that Harrison Bricks was taking.
Probably.
No, you don't pay a guy.
To your point. I know you're paying him a bunch of money, but it's
74. You can't pay 74.
Point, he's probably going to start, but it's like That's the thing about DeRozan. He's a great player, but like this point in his career, his game fits more as a 6-man because he can't shoot the three. That's his, and like part of what helps you in this, I feel like as a 2 guard, and I'm not saying he's a awful defender, but I feel like as a 2 guard, I need you to shoot like better than 29.
He's more of a 3. He's
and
more
it's
of
like,
a 3.
Yeah, in modern era, it's more about wing position.
I get Sacramento, like you're going for it, and I do like that they're trying to get more because that's what you really need. You just need guys who are experienced in the playoffs because, like you said, he had all those series in Toronto battling LeBron. He's an experienced player, and he's going to be an upgrade over someone like Davion Mitchell. So I get the move, but I just like DeRozan is kind of it's a.
Well, Sean, I think the big one though for them though is that they like Keegan Murray as at the 4.
And now I love him.
He can reign. And you know what, Zoo? I know they weren't going to get him back in that trade, but I was really hoping they were trying to gun for Keegan Murray. I know they wouldn't give him up.
No, he's probably untouchable.
But to your point, though, Sean, you know, they got Malik Monk, Herter, and Keegan Murray to kind of run the 3-point line. They're going to run pick and roll with De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, and they're going to force DeRozan to be the guy when they need a shot to be made.
And their pick is another versatile guy that's
exactly.
I mean, I don't know how good he is.
And he draws fouls.
Athlete.
He draws fouls, too. He's so good at getting to the line and just slowing the pace of the game down just enough to give their defense a little bit of a break.
I will say with Joel Embiid, what I think also this year will prove
is that if he's able to get through the East this year, because if everyone is healthy, I think it almost will be a better situation for him in terms of like the road. Like people saying like, man, he kind of went through a loaded East because if you just see how the East is stacking up this year, like there's outside of Atlanta, not really seeing the direction of what they're doing. Charlotte, kind of confused on what they're doing. Washington, of course.
Thank you.
I mean, you know, a lot of those teams, you could be like, these are teams that if you get them in a 7-game series, they're going to battle you. So I think if Embiid goes through and beats this East and doesn't have like a red carpet that Boston had, even though they did prove it in the finals, it's like, this could really add a little bit to more to his lore. Because to you guys' point, I agree. He is, you got your guys now. You got 3 guys. Like I said, Paul George being a third option is unbelievable.
It's crazy.
So the fact that you got 3 guys that can really go get a bucket at any time, I'm gonna need him to step up and do what he needs to do. So 76ers is a no-brainer. I know a lot of people are excited about Klay in Dallas. I am too. I'm just hoping that his fit with Kyrie and Luka is seamless like how it was with Steph, because I do think with the Warriors it was more so because Steph's not a traditional point guard. It was more so about their offense and getting Klay open. And I'm not saying Klay's not a feature player right now because I don't think he is, but I do think he's a player you can run plays for. And I'm interested to see how Jason Kidd, because I just don't think it's going to be. I mean, Luka and Kyrie's going to be able, especially Luka, he's going to be able to find Klay in the corner and do all that type of stuff. But I'm just talking about in further down in the season when it gets to like the end of the season and playoffs, like how will the offense gel in terms of them running plays for Klay and will he be able to execute? That's the only thing I'm worried about. But I think he's the perfect complement to those guys because they needed a shooter.
Well, it doesn't put him over the hump though, Sean. Let me tell you that it doesn't put him over the hump.
No, it does not. It definitely doesn't. It's like it's OKC and everybody else in that. Like the fact that, to your point, dude, Hartenstein and Alex Caruso, what weakness do they have on the team? I can't find one. I cannot be like, you know what, they're not going to be good there. The only thing I could see that could maybe become an issue is like Chet, maybe because there's so many options, he doesn't progress. But I mean, I think he's going to end up being not close to Shea's level in terms of a score, but he's going to be a more featured person in this offense. And I think Hartenstein being there and being a guy who's going to be able to take a little bit of the load off in terms of him having to battle other bigs, it's just going to open his game up more because Chet is got the body of a 5, but he has the game of a 3 and a 4. So like, I just don't see any weaknesses with that team. So it's like
their 3-point shooting needs a little bit of improvement. That's probably their only area, I would say.
They could probably go find. I mean, yeah. I mean, Caruso's a nice knockdown shooter, but he ain't like a guy that's a sniper.
Right.
But
they need a sniper. That's really all
they can go. They can go give up a freaking first
pick.
The 21st round picks they got, just go send that to somebody, go get one. So it doesn't even really matter.
Yep.
But yeah, but OKC, I love what they did. Orlando, I was almost thinking like, okay, perfect sense. Klay Thompson, let's get the deal done. But it seems like to me they had something up their sleeve because they were looking at KCP. And I'm going to be honest, I totally forgot about KCP. I never thought about him being an option for Orlando. And I actually like that option a little bit more than Klay because to me, I think they're comparable shooters right now, and not as all time, but I think they're comparable shooters right now. And I think I'd rather have KCP on defense.
And in the locker room. And in the locker room.
Yeah, the thing about Clay, him being like a nuisance in the locker room at Golden State it's weird hearing that because you just don't think of Clay as being a distraction. But that tells you what happens when money's on the line. When money's on the line and you're dealing with management and and your agent is telling you things that management is telling the agent, that that could kind of mess up a locker room. But I love that fit for KCP. Now, a lot of people are mad at like what's his name? Franz Wagner, the extension.
The max.
I mean, a lot of that stuff is just
that was surprising.
Kind of like it is surprising that he got that, but it's just kind of like the price of doing business. It's like I always talk about like if you're at a certain point total and you're at a certain if you're hitting these benchmarks early in your career, they're just similar. Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, all those guys are certain benchmark guys.
Quickly.
And it's just like you're gonna get the money, which is it looks. But see, too, in 2 to 3 years, that Quickly deal is gonna look like freaking pennies on the dollar. It ain't gonna matter. But I just think it's what these teams have to do because you're trying to curry favor with these agents because you never know who they're gonna get next. So a lot of that is just like you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. So for me, I love Orlando's move. They re-signed all their guys. Now, this doesn't have to really do necessarily with the move, but I like the direction they're going is the Jazz. I love that they're going in the direction of, okay, Lauri, we know you're probably going to have a balloon payment coming in about a year, so let's see if we can get some draft picks and maybe a player that's a future star in the making get sent back to us. I love that they're on that mindset. And also like with Kessler, they're staying firm on like, no, we want a first-round pick. Like we know that the center market is dried up. There's not a lot of good centers in the market. So guess what? You're going to give us a first round pick, and more than likely that's what they're going to get. I like that they're doing that because the other guys outside of those two, even though one could argue that Lauri is definitely their best player and you would maybe want to build around him. Danny Ainge, as much as crap he got in Boston, which it's just hard to have the Boston Celtics job, like I do like how he commits to, no, we're going on a youth movement. And to be honest, they're not OKC in terms of draft picks and in terms of like assets, but they're kind of, if you look at like their future assets, they're kind of positioning themselves to be like, hey, we're a team that can get a star in the future if a star wants to go there. And that's the part of the problem because no star wants to go to Utah. But go ahead.
Yeah, they got a haul for that Gobert and Donovan Mitchell trade. So future assets for them, they got rid of their assets at the right time. Like a couple franchises out there got to take notes, man. Don't sell your assets too late.
There you go. Dude, you don't have to smoke and mirrors it, man.
No,
he is smoking mirrors.
That's all I got to say. Don't sell your assets when they're at the low value. Sell it when it's high, especially when you don't have a trajectory to win a championship. Sell your assets and go for a rebuild.
You got to be extreme one way or extreme the other way. You can't sit in the middle and be like, hey, like to your point about, I know what he's referencing is what the Bulls have been doing for the last couple of years, and now they have a direction of what they're trying to do. So I'm not mad at what they're doing now.
It took them 12 years, Sean. It took them 12 years, man.
Well, I think too, like the concerning thing is like the whole Zach attaching a first that just screams that he's Lonzo 2.0. That means his knees must not be good. Like if you're attaching a first, that does not sound good.
That's crazy.
But and apparently now it's second. So like I guess I don't know, maybe it got the wrong news got out there, but that's a tough look. But I mean, I understand the movement now, what they're doing, because even though it's still crazy that they gave up Alex Caruso, didn't even get like a pick. Like the direction is going towards, hey, we're tanking. Because I don't know if you guys watch Team USA. Cooper Flagg looked really, 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 really good. He looked like a guy who could come off as a sixth man right now and get
play now. He can play now.
So to me, I don't care what really happens this college season. Like once that's over and he has to do his, he's obligated to be there for 9 months and play at Duke. Like once that's over, you're hoping if you're a Bulls fan, if you're a Wizards fan, if you're, one of these bottom feeder teams, hey, we're at the bottom because you get a guy like that, all of a sudden your future is looking very bright. So I'm not mad at like Utah because some could argue Cooper Flagg just if you're into demographics and how the NBA is set up, Utah almost looks like a match made in heaven for Cooper Flagg. So it's kind of like I see Utah as like, no, we don't want to pay Lauri or pay Lauri. No, we don't want to deal with Walker Kessler. Like we're trying to get off all these assets to be as bad as possible because now, if Cooper Flagg is there, then maybe if you are in the top 2 or 3, you maybe have enough assets to get to the number one pick and be like, hey, we'll give you 4 or 5 first round picks and a couple of players, and we want to get number one, which if I'm the number one pick, I'm not going to trade out. But you never know. Utah has a lot of options. So I kind of love what they're doing because they're positioning themselves for a guy like him. Or I'm a big fan of Ace Bailey. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's going to Rutgers right now. He's a 6'9" wing he's pretty dirty too. So I like the teams who have a clear direction that are like, hey, we're tanking. This is what we're going to do. And, like I said, in the NBA, everybody can't freaking win. Everybody can't freaking win. And it does pay off to tank. I don't care. I know everybody trusts the process,
Because
I get all that with Phil.
One basic thing about the NBA is you got to be able to draft a homegrown star. Like if you look at every championship team in the last couple of years, you are able to freaking draft and develop a guy as a cornerstone for your franchise. And Boston Celtics just proved it. Like it was Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
Nuggets.
That was their cornerstone. Yeah, Nuggets with Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Obviously, the Warriors with the Splash Brothers. Like, you talking about these franchises, like, you got to have that first piece. If you don't have that potential superstar, you got to find them. And the only way to find them is through the draft. It's the only way, unless you find a foolish team that gives up on a young player, a.k.a. Indiana Pacers, feeling like Tyrese Halliburton is their star piece, that they were pretty much got a guy on a rookie contract to turn out to be a potential
Milwaukee Bucks too.
Giannis. Giannis draft. You got to draft.
The only one that wasn't was the Lakers.
The Lakers is
but they have a history of doing because Magic was homegrown and Kobe was homegrown, so that they are an anomaly with that because they got LeBron. But
Shaq,
they won with was
Shaq, LeBron, and AD. Those are the only 4.
And see to that point. A lot of that is because it's the LA market. They're used to getting free agents. A lot of cities, and even LA now, it's like it's tougher because everybody can be seen now. Everybody can be seen now. You can be seen in Milwaukee. You can be seen in Portland. You can be seen in Orlando. Social media has made it to where you don't have to be in LA. So it's like unless you like the state taxes and I guess the pretty women that are there, it's like why are you trying to go to LA? But before that was kind of like it's LA. We can get you deals. We can do all this stuff. So now there are some cities that still kind of struggle with that. Like, Utah, Oklahoma City,
Memphis.
Memphis is kind of tough. Like there's, and Milwaukee probably without Giannis is probably a tough city to get somebody up to go play in there. Boston historically hadn't got a lot of free agents. That's why it was very important for them to draft well and get homegrown stars. Because I almost guarantee you, if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown was not on the Celtics, they're not going there to go play in Boston.
No.
No. So I think it's important, to your point, to always have the homegrown stars. Even like with Cleveland, like LeBron didn't get it the first time, but he went back. He was a guy that they got.
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving. Number one pick. Yeah. So it's like you got it. The draft is the way in the NBA. You got to draft. And two, it doesn't always necessarily 95% of the time it's usually top 5 picks that are the guys who are the superstars. But it's like, Giannis, mid-round pick, like Halliburton, mid-round pick,
Jokic.
like second-round pick. If you got an elite scouting department, you can find your star, and once you find them, it's got to, that's where the hard part comes in. It's like finding a star, they would say, is the hardest part. But then it's like once you find a star, you have to do your due diligence as a management staff to surround the star.
Oh, yeah.
And not be complacent with like, well, we have a superstar. He's going to get us to the playoffs and we'll just hope. It's like, no, get him the necessary help. Because if you give him the necessary help, it'll pay dividends. So, yeah, NBA free agency, we kind of went through and stated all the teams that kind of did, some great moves and some teams that kind of just stand the pat. But like I said, going forward, the NBA is going through their summer league. Like people said at the beginning of the pod, like Bronny James has a lot of the coverage, but there also is a lot of stars that like I'm really interested to see what they do in a like Vegas setting, a setting, I would say.
Did you guys see Zach Edey? Oh, he dominated. He looked
Summer League Zoo. Summer League Zoo.
I know people say Summer League is college. I know what people say Summer League, like whatever.
There's a bunch
like
of plumbers and electricians out there.
Denzel Valentine.
No.
Truck drivers.
Oh no.
Dude, Denzel Valentine.
You can see skill sets in the Summer League. Okay,
I forgot about him.
Oh, stop it.
Michigan State alone.
Oh my God! Stop it, man. That was his second and third year. It was not his first year, man. Like when you reoccur and come back to Summer League when you're 25, 26 years old playing against a 20-year-old, okay, you're gonna look a lot better. But especially when you're a rookie and you go to Summer League and you do well, I think that's important. That's important. And Zach Edey, he looked like that rim protector right now. He looking big and bulky, mobile like a Brooke Lopez.
Yeah,
he looking nice. Him and John, baby. Him and John. That's a nice screen. He sets a nasty screen.
He does.
Because he's so freaking huge. Like,
well, I'll say
not open shots.
Once he sees Anthony Edwards coming down the lane about to dunk on him, I don't think he's going to be as good of a rim protector.
Bring it.
I'll tell you that.
I'll bring Zach Edey behind me, man. I'm ready. All right.
Ja will get him ready in practice by dunking on him, so he'll know what to expect with that.
He'll probably tear his knee in the process, man. Jesus.
Yeah, but I'm really Summer League is that's actually one of the events I want to go to, like a bucket list item. I would love to go to Summer League and just go see a bunch of those guys play.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for the NBA free agency. It's kind of almost over a little bit, and I'm ready to see the Summer League. So you guys make sure you're tuning in to Tyson Talks _ on Instagram, where you can get all these type of clips where it comes to basketball, maybe reposting some stuff for fantasy football because that's right around the corner. Make sure you're on our YouTube, Quantrell Knows, where I'm posting a similar type of stuff. Apple, Spotify, where you can listen to us. And for me, Zoo, and P. Bush, we are out.